Love the North. We're here with Jill from PetSave and talking about breeding. Great to see you today. Don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends so that the education can get out to as many people as possible. With the dogs, they're talking about markers. I don't remember what the name was, but you want for the when you're breeding the dogs,
Yep.
for the line, the
So
lineage.
the lineage. And so there are very few breeders who do that in our town.
Okay.
Very few. 95% of all the dogs bred in Sudbury,
Yeah.
they're backyard breeders.
They're
not.
get dogs together.
Two dogs, have sex, have babies, make money.
Are they mutts?
Yep. Well, some of them will. This whole thing of purebred versus mutts, they're
Yeah.
almost all mutts now because people are combining them and calling them new things.
Yes.
Like the Shih Tzus,
I had
the Shih Tzu and the Poodle. And then it's like the Doodles. And then the Labradoodles, the Sheepadoodles, the everything Doodles. It's like, and they sell them like purebred prices.
Exactly.
Right? Like if you have a purebred Great Dane, it's a purebred Great Dane.
It's
a Bernese Mountain Dog, a Golden Retriever. And now they've made these designer brands and people are buying them. And some of them are genetic nightmares. They're just like, they have health problems. A friend of mine got one and I said to him,
pure Frenchman, there is none.
there is none.
We got French. We know that.
Exactly.
I had someone tell me
But a mixed gene pool makes them last a long time. And actually, that's the advantages to getting a mixed breed over
they're going to last
purebred.
longer.
Absolutely. Less medical problems because each purebred is prone to their medical. And we'll talk about that in the question. So,
Well, we're already going here.
Oh, but
I
didn't know we were going.
We're always going. I had someone tell me just yesterday they have a dog, a Mastiff mixed with maybe a Bully, and it's been called a new breed. It's apparently a thing. And anyways, they're very proud of their new pup because it's a little sister for their other pup that's probably a year old. And it's just, where do they come up with this stuff? It's not a
People
purebred.
make up lines like that line. I've seen them make up the names online. Literally, they've made up those words. They take half of what one breed is, half of another breed, and they make a new name themselves. And then they post it and go, I want $500 for my puppy.
It sounds great.
That's a mutt. Why don't you just go to a rescue where you actually, when you pay your money, you get value for it. You get a spay or neuter, you get a vaccination, defleed, dewormed, you learn about temperament. Because this is the problem. People buy online pictures. We even get it at our place. They say, but that's the one I want. And I go, but that one's not going to work for you. Then they get mad at me because, well, that's the one I wanted. I get that. But that dog has separation anxiety and you both work full time and have no other dog. So you're probably not going to work out.
For 4 years.
Yeah.
Kind of just walked in my yard.
And you fed it for 4 years.
We had it for 4 years after that.
Yeah.
You don't know how old he was.
Yeah.
Give it a few shots and that was it. He never wanted to leave. So.
Hey, when the food is good, man.
But that was your dog.
Yeah.
That was our dog.
So, yeah. So anyways.
So my question to you is, you run a rescue center.
Mm-hmm.
What's the benefit? Why are we even talking about breeding?
Because they're creating problems for us out there. Breeders, we get a lot of purebreds or those purebred mixed breeds in our shelter on our surrender lines. Because the breeders are creating the populations and they created a lot during COVID.
Yeah.
The problem is they're not taking them back now. And a good breeder,
Like a real breeder,
will take back their dog.
Always, or pretty much?
Pretty much most of the time. I know a handful of good breeders and they absolutely would take them back till the day they die.
Okay.
Right? Because that's their dog. And so when people say, well, we do it for the love of the breed, ask a breeder why they do it. When they tell you they do it for the love of the breed, come on. They're doing it for the money.
So
and how many of them actually do the testing for the lineage, or how many actually give you that health guarantee?
Yeah.
Almost none. At least in our area. But I can name you probably at least 30, 40 puppy mills that pump them out every year.
Is it a money thing?
Absolutely. It's all about money. During COVID, we had, first of all, some breeders and even some, which I thought I respected, during COVID, doubled their prices and bred more often. So are those good breeders? So what's driving them to do that? It's the God almighty dollar.
That begs the question, why?
Why? It's for money.
Why?
It's all about money.
So when it comes time to breeding,
and you can't, so now we're into hoarding situations as a result of all this breeding, and there's nowhere for these dogs to go anymore. Now they're in homes like 20, 30 deep. There was just another case up north here of golden retrievers.
How many?
They took like 30 out.
30 out of. So what happens to these?
Well, you can't find homes for them anymore. And we had breeders in 2025, I had breeders calling my line to ask if I would take over their 4-month-olds, because you can't sell a dog for $1,000 or $1,500 when it's 4 or 5 months old. You can only do that when they're the 8 to 10 weeks, right?
Were these purebreds or were these mixed?
Oh, purebreds.
They were
Well,
purebred?
they said they're purebreds.
Okay.
You know, black lab and black lab, and makes a purebred black lab. But I mean, do they have papers? Do they have so the whole breeding thing in Canada? People go, well, I'm CKC registered. That's basically a paper collecting. You know, they send in their lineage and their
You can get
paperwork,
that in a cereal box.
and they get. Well, I was going to say I don't have a whole. It doesn't hold a lot of water with me, because I know people who are CKC registered, and if people saw where they keep their Shih Tzus and breed their Shih Tzus and what they charge for them at $2,500 a head, well, the money ain't going into the care of those dogs. That's for sure. So when you say CKC registered, sure, they're CKC registered, but nobody follows up or inspects their kennels. There's no kennel inspections on breedings, and there should be, because they inspect pounds.
Yeah.
You know, they don't even inspect rescues. They should inspect rescues. We should all fall under, if you're going to get into the animal world, period, you should have inspections.
So at the end of the day, how do you know a good breeder from a bad breeder?
Most bad breeders you're going to meet in a parking lot.
Yeah, okay.
Or you never see where they actually come from, or you never meet the parents. And the bad breeders, so a lot of them deal online. And they sell, they ask no questions.
Yeah.
Oh, you want my little Shih Tzu?
Yep.
Sure, $400. Here you go.
Transaction.
It's all financial transaction. We've had people who, you know, they call us and they said, like, they didn't even ask me any questions, and they gave my 75-year-old mother a little Shih Tzu, and yes, she was a fabulous pet owner her whole life, but she's 75 now.
Yeah.
She can't handle a puppy.
Right.
And the breeder won't take it back. So now they're on my doorstep to surrender it. So was that a good breeder? No.
Probably
They just
not.
look at his money. They don't care who. Many of them don't even qualify anybody. I mean, we've taken off where we've seen issues, where we know there's problems in a particular house, and we'll get people to phone up and get those dogs, and they never ask them a question. Never ask them a question. And if they see where they end up, you know, and even sometimes people go, well, I find all my puppies good homes. Really? Okay. So you may have found a good home, but this couple gets divorced. You don't have the guarantee for them to come back to you. So now they're out there. I give it to my coworker. Well, maybe coworker should have been searched out a little better than what you thought he was. Coworker's not a good pet owner. Then coworker got this dog for free and now really doesn't want it anymore. They pass it to the next person. There was a study done years ago that said the average dog has 3 homes in its life.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of homes for a
That's
dog.
just, imagine if your kid had 3 homes in a life.
Exactly.
Or
exactly
kid,
my point.
Exactly. Kid belongs at home with the family until the kid's ready to go on to the next
Nurturing.
stage. Yeah.
Nurturing, right?
Yeah.
And so, and we're often criticized because of my tough puppy policies, but I'm telling you, people need to raise their dogs. If people would spend the time before they make their opinion of me, come spend some time with us. Come volunteer and see how many dogs arrive between 7 and 15 months old in a mess.
Yeah.
Why are they in a mess? Overcrating, realize, whoops, we work full time. You'll often see that online. Hi, we realize we don't have time for our dog. We didn't have time for a puppy to raise it. So now it's a mess, and now they just want to get rid of it. Because we're in a society that we like easy.
Yeah.
And again, even with the dogs, we tend to order up online. Like it's a cheeseburger at the drive-thru.
Right. That goes back to the, education and volunteering. You get the kids coming in to volunteer, help out, and then they see what goes on. So you're educating them, and they're probably going to tell 1 or 2 of their friends about their experience there, and that just helps get out the knowledge about the do's and don'ts.
And that's why we ask people, please come volunteer.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to have an opinion. Come see why our policies are what they are and why.
Because then you fully
understand. There's a reason for it. Exactly. And so and I always say to people, if rescue was easy, everybody would be in it. But they're not. Number 1, it's very costly. Number 2, it's a lot of work. Physical work. And a lot of work because we get a lot of animals dumped on us that literally should have never been in those homes. So that's why we look for a certain criteria. To try to secure that. And so when people say, well, I don't want to rescue, I'm looking for a purebred. Well, I get purebreds all the time. So I get purebred bullies and I get purebred Pyrenees, and have since COVID. It was the number 1 and number 2 dogs bred during COVID. The number 1 and number 2 surrendered dogs after COVID.
The Pyrenees are the big dogs.
Big white dogs. So these are these
Shaggy?
dogs, yes, but they look really cute as little white puppies.
Uh-huh.
And so everybody, again, that's that picture online. Nobody does the homework and says Pyrenees on Google and finds out what kind of a dog is this. And that's where doing your homework really important before especially if you're having children or you have children, young children particularly, because a lot of these breeds are guarding breeds. And so then they run into behavior problems and they dump them into a system, either a pound or a rescue, and say, well, it has issues. Well, it has those issues because that's not what that dog was meant for. That dog wasn't meant to live in an apartment. We get a lot of people who had Pyrenees in apartments during COVID,
Bad.
These are farm dogs. These are working dogs. They're guarding dogs. They need to be out on the land. These are not, and you can get, and I'm going to get a bunch of emails that say, you don't know what you're talking about. I have a Pyrenees, and that's great, but that's a percentage, folks.
Yeah.
It's a percentage of dogs that do really well inside the homes. If you are into purebred Pyrenees, which we have 3 more, and our 3 came from a gentleman who was breeding dogs and was suspected to shoot the 3 that were found in the ditch in Living when he was done in COVID. If you can't make any more money, we just shoot them and get rid of them. That's what they do on the farms. And then the other 3 he let go. So they roamed, in Living, and they roamed for months. So we recently, Trish Stahl, one of our people out in the French River area, trapped them up, worked with the residents in the area, and we trapped them up and brought them in. And they were quite feral at the beginning.
Yeah.
One guy still isn't quite come around yet. He's getting there. He's starting to let us pet him, so that's a good thing, right?
So where are they today? Are they with you?
Yeah, they're still in our kennel.
Shelter?
They've been there for months.
All 3 of them.
All 3 of them. We just started. So 2 weeks ago, the first 2 started going on walks, and they love their walks. So
someone walking them?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're great for walking. They're perfect on a leash.
Yeah.
But they're Pyrenees, purebred Pyrenees, and so people just have to understand the breed and what they need. So we'll find them homes. I mean, they're great dogs.
Yeah.
The other 3rd guy, well, like I say, he was interesting. Yeah. I remember the day I tried to go take him and tell him he was being neutered that day.
He didn't like that?
No, he didn't like that. I was trying to lasso him, and he came lunging with his teeth, and they're like 100 pounds.
Yeah.
120 pounds at you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he decided that day wasn't the day.
Uh-huh.
So, and I didn't argue it.
No, sometimes you just got to let them do what they're going to do, and tomorrow's another day.
Absolutely. So, anyway, so they'll find, but again, these are purebred dogs, right? That somebody just was breeding to sell and didn't ask the question. So a lot of those Pyrenees ended up in wrong places, and we get trends, right?
Yeah.
So the Pyrenees was big the last few years. Rotties were really big for a while. Bullies are really big. These new micro bullies.
Oh yeah.
They're vet nightmares. Like I talk to the vets, and they're like they're just
because they have
just
issues.
Their physical statures. They just make them hard for even spaying. They promote a lot of. People have to understand that each breed brings a specific medical tendency to it. Meaning, like your purebred golden retrievers, hips.
Right.
Bernese, hips. Right. German shepherds,
hips.
Hips.
What about labs?
Well, they can be. Labs can be. Labs are not so much, I find. But like Rotties, straight knees, so they tend to have knee problems.
Really?
So their physical statures, and I mean the bullies themselves, I always say to people when they're looking at bullies, remember pet insurance, because bully breeds bring bully bills.
Yeah.
Really bully bills. And so you can end up with easily $5,000-$10,000 in orthopedic bills in those dogs.
So I'm going to ask you, what do huskies get?
They're pretty good. Actually,
overall?
A husky, yeah, overall.
Okay.
They need to exercise. They just, when people say, well, I don't have time for a dog. No, it's not that you don't have time. You didn't make time.
Yeah.
Carve out 45 minutes twice a day, or even a half hour twice a day. Take your husky and run the crap out of him, either in a bush, if he's good off leash.
Some
are and some aren't.
Yeah.
And so if not, take him to the dog park, even on off hours if he's not with other dogs. Some say, well, he's not good with other dogs. Take them after hours. I've seen 10 p.m. people running their dogs over there by themselves.
Yeah.
At the dog parks, and they run them. And I mean run hard. Like I get people who go, I love that husky and I love to walk. And I go, well, they're not a walking dog.
They want to run.
They're a running dog.
Yeah.
So if you don't run that dog and spend that energy, like border collies,
they want to run too.
High energy.
Yeah.
You need, and they need constant stimulation. And if they don't get it, they become problematic. They're going to take the lead because you're not leading.
What about Springer Spaniels?
Excellent hunting dog.
Yeah.
I don't recommend them for children.
No?
Nope.
Aggressive?
Well, no, it's just they're known to have this thing called the spaniel snap, where they can literally
Snap?
turn on a dime. I had a friend, her daughter has a nice scar on her face
Okay.
from a spaniel they had.
How old was the daughter? Young?
Well, they had 3 daughters, and they always growled at the one, she said.
Yeah,
They've
yeah.
always the dog kind of didn't, when you see those kind of things with your children,
Yeah.
that's a sign it's coming. So be careful. And they're a hunting dog, excellent. And spaniels can be very and again, 90% of them are going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, with a spaniel, I'd probably not do young children.
So at the end of the day, why should people deal with a rescue versus a breeder for getting a new family member?
2 reasons. One, first of all, whatever breed you want out there, hit the word in Google and hit the word rescue behind the breed you like.
Google?
Just go to Google.
Google.
Hit the rescue, hit the breed you like.
Yeah.
And then behind that word, type in rescue.
Yeah.
There is a rescue for every breed out there. So that says something right there, right? So I guess they all didn't find perfect homes because you have rescues that do breed specific. I do all breeds.
Yeah.
But a lot of rescues do just very specific breeds. And so, like I said to people, if everybody was a perfect breeder, guess what? We wouldn't have purebreds sitting in shelters and rescues across this country.
So your shelter, you take in any dog of any type, whereas there's some rescues
Yes.
that only take in specific dogs.
Yes, they know the breed and they focus on those breeds only.
So why would a rescue only take in some versus your rescue taking in all?
So again, they have the knowledge, and certain breeds require certain types of homes, and they know that.
Yeah.
So their niche is that particular breed.
Okay.
And you see it a lot more in the smaller breeds, or like Weimaraners, or like there's rescues for those breeds because those people have a passion for that breed.
Yeah.
Because those are usually breeds that are misunderstood. Again, people looked at a picture, thought it was a great idea, realized we didn't have the home for that dog. So it's so important. And with a mixed breed, so here's the advantages when you buy purebred versus mixed breed is your vet bills generally. When you have a mixed gene pool, which is those mutts, they tend to have less medical bills because purebreds are prone to certain conditions. So that's why even insurance, when you get pet insurance and they say what kind of a dog, there are higher premiums for some breeds because those insurance companies know that down the road, they're going to end up paying out some claims for that dog, right? They know that the chances are those hips are going, and a pair of hips these days is about $12,000-$14,000. I'm doing one right now. I have a Pyrenees that came in that I'm doing a hip replacement next month on. And I mean, even with my discounts and the generosity of my vet down south, it's still like over $7,000.
So I'm going to go off topic here, but it's like the woo-woo factor when you marry your cousin.
Yes, those interbreeds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people who tend to breed and inbreed and they start, they just get a bunch of males and females, mothers, daughters, sons. Yeah, that's not a good idea. That's not a good idea.
Right.
And so again, reputable breeders also take their dogs back. Whereas your breeders that are backyard breeders, they're usually out of somebody's home. They don't have any vet paperwork that comes with them. You still get some that are still considered backyard breeders that'll go get their first set of vaccines to try to legitimize themselves. But really, they're just backyard breeders.
So let's talk about the trendy dogs. I don't know what they are, but I know they're out there. What kind of issues do these trendy dogs have?
So we have a bunch of small dogs being bred with a bunch of other small dogs because small dogs are like, and we always go back to, I think it was Paris Hilton who started the whole purse dog. Remember she had the little carry bags and I swear that's where it all started because that seems to be where we saw the huge influx in
the pocket dog.
Exactly. And that's what they like. So the small dogs have always been in demand. So as long as the demand is there, there's going to be breeding. And there's some bad breeders, like puppy mills, I call them. They're puppy mills.
Yeah.
And they just pump them out. When you see the dogs, they're not socialized. You should always ask to see the parents. Yeah, can I see the parents? If they're well socialized parents in a good environment. But you can always tell when they're underfed, they're sitting in barn stalls. And that happens down on the Mennonite farms down in outside of Massey. Mm-hmm. They just have them in barn stalls and they just breed all the popular breeds. They'll do spaniels, shepherds.
So would it always be good to go and see the home in which
Absolutely.
the
go visit where it comes
came from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they say meet me in the Tim Hortons parking lot, probably not a good idea.
There's another online shady deal.
Exactly. And that's another thing that has become a huge problem online right now is people have become so accustomed to buying online.
Yeah, it's
And
so easy.
And now there's scammers out there, though. They have to be careful, even whether it be a mixed breed or a purebred, is they're advertising these dogs and they say, we take deposits.
Yeah,
E-transfer your deposit.
Yeah.
So people e-transfer the deposit and weeks later find out they don't have a dog.
Right. But someone had a nice deposit. And it's so easy to set something
scam.
like that. Yeah.
So they put a cute picture up. So be very careful. You should always buy in person. And you should never give a deposit unless you're in person.
Right.
And you should always visit where it is they're being bred.
So you know where to go and
absolutely
find them after when they say your deposit's gone.
Yeah. Break their legs to get your money back.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm gonna call the mafia in. No, it's a serious business. And so right now there's so many overbred dogs and we are so overpopulated because again, back in COVID, everybody thought it was a good time to get a dog. And a lot of those people, when they got a dog, then they gave the dog away. It was unfixed. So now there's more breeding going on.
You know, I remember before we got our dog, I didn't want to get it because of where we lived, too close to dangerous things. Now that there's more space, yeah, no problem getting a dog because I don't want to keep the dog always tied up. You want to
we have a tethering bylaw in Sudbury. If you see a dog that's tied 24/7, we have a tethering bylaw. They are not allowed to do that.
Okay.
And that's fairly new in the last decade. And you know, it's I never understood why people would get a dog and tie it outside.
Right. It's like
we still see it all the time. Right?
Yeah, it's like a dog out there.
Farm areas. Yeah.
In its doghouse, has a rope to it, or there's a peg, and then you get to go here.
So there's a place like that just outside of town that we're dealing with right now, because the gentleman's not well. So we're like, why do you tie those dogs up? And they just stare at each other. You know, they're all X amount of feet apart.
Yeah.
And it's just so sad to see that. What is the purpose of having those dogs? And really the expense, because to feed the dogs, which a lot of them don't get fed regularly.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a life. I always say to people, do to yourself or your children what you do to your dog, and see if you think that's okay. So would you just go tie yourself up to a tree and sit for nearly 24 hours, never mind 24, do 365 days in Northern Ontario where we have horrific weather. And people have this misconception, say, well, they're huskies so they can live outside. There are only a few double-coated breeds that actually can withstand our temperatures, and it's still not healthy for them.
Yeah.
Even though they're double-coated, and yes, they can, our temperatures are severe in Northern Ontario and they will take their toll on their bones.
Yeah.
So you will have shorter lifespans.
Yeah. For
sure. So they always should be sheltered properly. And I mean insulated. If they're going to be outdoor dogs, make sure there's an insulated place for them to retrieve from the cold.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't.
Even the farm dogs, they deserve proper animal care, even if they're farm dogs.
So wrapping up, what kind of things are you challenge? What kind of things are you faced with this week as opposed to last week?
Oh, so this week, like we're working on a case right now that a gentleman has come forward. So when we talk about breeding, people were breeding their dogs and they made good money, right? Because there was a high demand. Now they can't get rid of those litters, and now those litters are having litters.
Oh.
So, yeah, and it multiplies really quickly.
Is this happening in small quarters?
So today's case of the day is 25 to 30 labs living in a 2-bedroom apartment in town.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine what that's going to look like, but we're working with them, and the gentleman is very good. He's just got in over his head, right? So we're going to help him. We're going to help him spay his female so that it stops, and we remove everything else.
Yeah, but is that going to still continue?
Well, hopefully not. We're going to fix his female, and hopefully he doesn't get any more unfixed animals. I think he's probably learned at this point, number one, you can't find homes for them. I have shipped probably 40 or 50 puppies down Southern Ontario in the last month because I can no longer take any more. I can't possibly take any more puppies on. Even in Sudbury, we're saturated here. We don't have the population base. So these people like this gentleman, really, where's his puppies going to go? Nobody wants them. So then you start accumulating in an apartment or a house now, and we're seeing more hoarding situations because they can no longer make money. They can't sell those dogs. And I'm not saying that's what this gentleman's case is. I haven't got all the facts in yet. We're still working at the last couple of days. And hopefully over the next couple of days, we just help this gentleman get back on track, keep one dog, look after one well. I always say, please don't get multiple pets unless make sure that you can afford all of the pets to have good vet care, afford good nutrition, because the houses we go into that can't afford one are usually the ones that can't afford 15 or 20.
I think one dog and one cat's enough.
It is. So again, pet insurance is huge, important right now in our society today, because vet care has definitely gone up in price, and people need to make those calls and find out what it is before they pick up a phone. I get a lot of people call me and go, "Oh my God, I just called to see how much it costs to spay or neuter my dog."
Yeah.
Now we have spay neuter programs in our city.
Yeah.
So we host a clinic called East Village Animal Hospital,
Yeah.
which will come to town, and they do it's
whole
based
bunch
on
of
your
them?
income. Yep.
Okay.
They're here every couple of weeks, and will do like even 75 dogs and cats in a few days.
Yeah.
And then see a bunch of medical cases for a couple other days. So people who can't afford, who are in, fixed incomes like ODSP or Ontario Works, get in touch, because East Village Animal Hospital can see you while they're here. The other thing is the SPCA over at Collage Boreal, it runs a spay neuter program now. They have 2 new vets there.
Mhm.
So they're, get into one of the programs. It makes it affordable. If you have no money and you're low income based, there is help available. And we want people to reach out, because we can redirect you to the right place, because you want to make sure that you're not multiplying at this point. Spay your dogs, spay your cats and dogs. That's the name of the game.
That's the motto.
Please don't litter. Spay or neuter your pet.